Hey guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. Today we're talking in Just Like That, the writer's room. You guys, you might have seen part 11 on the thumbnail. Don't let that freak you out. If this is your first episode, it really does not matter. You can pick right up along with us because this is hilarious. We have been breaking down the Writer's Room podcast that they put out for us for our entertainment, question mark? So we're going to pick right up with that. Before we do, I want to talk Patreon. Before we jump into it, I did want to let you know I have a Patreon now. So check that out. Patreon.com/Real Housewives Recap. And you'll find my logo and you'll find us. So take a look at that. See if it works out. The first episode's free. You can watch it here on YouTube. After that, you can check them out on Patreon. We're doing the original Sex and the City series. So this one is a new episode for us. It's called Some of My Best Friends. It's with Kelly Goff, Goff, speaking. Of course, Michael Patrick King has to be on everything, so he's in this one. We'll still hear Elisa Zaritsky and Julie Rottenberg, some of the other writers, and Kelly is part of the writer's room as well. So can't wait to hear what illuminating things they have to say about this mess. Let's get into it.
Hello, everyone. This is And Just Like That, The Writer's Room, the official companion podcast from HBO Max and Pineapple Street Studios.
I just want to ask myself, who is listening to this? Like, I can't get enough of And Just Like That, so I'm going to listen to this podcast to go right along with it. Like, who is this for? Are there diehard fans out there listening to this unironically?
I'm Michael Patrick King, executive producer, writer, and director of And Just Like That.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd brag about that. Also, ever since I put out that video where I revealed that Michael Patrick King is the voice of the sandwich that harasses Miranda, that's all I can think about when I hear his voice. Ugh.
And here with me, as always, we have executive producer and writer Julie Rottenberg.
Hi, happy to be back here with you guys.
And executive producer and writer Elisa Zaritsky.
Hey, hey, hey.
And joining us today for the very first time in the podcast writing room, but for the millionth time in the actual writing room, Kelly Goff.
Hi.
So I called my friend Susan Failshill, who is a brilliant television writer, and she said, you've got to get Kelly. Kelly is bright. She's stunningly smart and has a million ideas. So, of course, I got Kelly's stuff.
So again, you've probably been listening along with us, I would imagine. But if this is your first episode, this is the part where they all kiss each other's ass. It's like, sycophantic. Like, they laugh at each other's jokes harder than you'll ever hear. They talk about how genius they all are. It's a lot. And I kind of love it, especially because we know what a train wreck this show is. It's funny to hear them talk like this.
She's a playwright, and she writes television. And I read her plays. And they had such an amazing ability to contain tension that then goes into comedy that I was instantly hooked. So I called Kelly up and asked her to do the show. Now, Kelly didn't let us know that she was a super fan of Sex and the City.
So that makes it worse. A super fan helped ruin the show.
Really? She didn't let you know in
No, she played it very stealth, very cool, very Kelly.
Manic laughter. We should take shots. We would be like blackout in about 30 seconds if we did.
I don't know if it was an intentionally covert operation. I will say, will anyone believe me that it didn't come up in the first interview?
I believe you. Because we talked about what we were going to do with the show and how we were bringing in new writers to flesh out the new characters, as well as the bonus track was that Kelly had a very strong connection to the characters from Sex and the City.
No, you bunch of jackasses. We, the audience, had a very strong connection to the characters in Sex and the City. You ruined them.
And an encyclopedic memory for dialogue from episodes from every single season. Kelly would quote back to us things in our own episodes that we did not remember.
Well, I will say that in my defense, that it wasn't just that I was preventing you from knowing that you were marrying your stalker, Michael. Although that was part of what was going on. I figured you probably shouldn't drop that in the first date. But the other thing that was going on is I think I was in such shock that you took this meeting with me. I was so excited. Like, my mother doesn't really know much about modern day Hollywood post like Matlock episodes. She doesn't really know anything.
Ha ha ha. We're so funny. Okay. I'm going to save us all a headache. This is the boring bit. Let's get into when they actually talk about I'm trying to find, let's see, I guess the load of pants. I love load of pants. Let's talk about the load of pants that is the episode.
Yes.
I collect vintage clothing. I have couture. I have another apartment that I keep as an office, wink, wink, closet. She became more and more Carrie.
Carrie.
She's a
Yes.
very interesting combination
True.
of Carrie and Charlotte.
So she forgot how to dress. She has a puffy face and puffy sleeves.
Yeah.
It's true. You're right. That's
And
really
has a
funny.
great affinity for Charlotte, which is kind of the thrust.
Oh, God, you guys, he's saying thrust again. Again, if this is your first episode with us, Michael Patrick King cannot stop saying thrust. He also cannot stop talking about Brady's semen. It's so disgusting.
For Kelly's episode.
Mm-hmm.
The episode number 4, entitled Some of My Best Friends. By the way, there were so many other titles.
Yeah.
So you guys picked the worst one?
The first title that Kelly came up with was Guess Who's Coming to Dinner? And I personally said to Kelly, your script is so good, why reference another piece? So it finally became Some of My Best Friends because in the episode, well, if you haven't seen the episode, again, please stop listening. Go watch them.
So again, here is the ego of the writers. They think that their material is so good that people are consuming this podcast without even having seen the episodes. And maybe there are people like that out there. I don't know, but I don't think I want to meet them. I'm afraid. Plus I feel like that would be like Che Diaz, right?
Because it only pays off if you're up to date. So please right now, if you haven't seen the episodes, go watch them. Everybody else who's seen them, first of all, thank you. And secondly, let me just say that in this episode, we wanted to design a show where each of the new characters met up with some of the original characters. And we wanted to deepen the characters we brought in. And the first...
Okay, I like to tell it like it is and tell the truth. So let me wade through some of the bullshit that he's spewing right now. What he's actually saying, without saying it, is we are using people of color as props, and they seem to be doing it with the gay people as well. We're going to assign one to each of the main characters. It's so gross.
Storyline that we wanted to talk about was Charlotte and the new character, LTW, Lisa Todd Wexley. And we wanted to sort of go right into the hot button topic of why they have not ever communicated to their black friends, if they have black friends, if Charlotte has black friends, what it feels.
Or here's a crazy idea. Maybe we could just make friends with people and not tick boxes and this is ridiculous. Like, what year is this? And again, I've said it before, in an effort to try to seem progressive, they've taken about 25 steps backwards. I don't want to be invited to somebody's house because I'm a woman. I want to be invited to somebody's dinner because they find me interesting. This is so crazy, you guys. I'm banging my head against the wall. I've had so many comments saying the exact same thing. Like, this is gross.
For someone to try to be in the current moment and try to stay current and being surprised that they're not really where they should be.
So the writers with the biggest egos I've ever seen in my entire life are going to take it upon themselves to teach us, the little people, how we should be.
Well, I did say to Cynthia Nixon that as an expert on all things Sex in the City, this is definitively the blackest episode in the history of the franchise. And I say that with great pride.
I can't figure out where all the forced wokeness is coming from. It's so weird. I sincerely hope you can sense the sarcasm in my voice.
The elephant in the room, has been some of the criticism that it's certainly not a secret to all of us here.
That's funny because it does seem to be a secret to you guys because you've completely messed this up and ignored all the criticism
about diversity in the previous iteration of the series. But one of the things I've always been fairly candid about is that, our society, even today, although much less so than it was, 50 years ago, but even today, we're still a fairly segregated society in our personal lives. And one of the things that I think is fascinating, I would say, particularly about our room, is that for a number of us, our personal lives don't look like that, right? Like,
So the viewers are the problem? You guys are getting this all right and we're getting it wrong? Is that how you guys are hearing it too?
I don't want to speak for some of the other writers who aren't here, but all of us have kind of compared notes, and whether it comes to our romantic relationships or our closest circle of friends. And certainly I will speak for myself and say that the people I am closest to in this world, they are a total rainbow in terms of diversity.
Yeah, so I was totally willing to hear what she had to say, and I'm not looking for things to pick out, but you guys heard that too, right? She just said that we're all getting it wrong, but she's got it right because she has a rainbow of friends. How is that different than being the jackass that walks into the room and says, all of my black friends? You know what I mean? Like, that's a terrible thing to say. So how is what she's saying any different?
And not just in terms of race, but in terms of religion and sexual orientation. And that is the world we live in today. But that's not everyone's world, right? That's not everyone's world. And I just wanted to emphasize that. And so one of the conversations I thought we wanted to have on the show is it's not just, okay, why wasn't Sex and the City more diverse? Why aren't all Americans more diverse in their personal lives?
Again, we're talking about a show. Do you guys watch it to learn lessons or to it just blows my mind, the ego on these people, to think that they need to teach us how to be a certain way.
And if you are someone who is actually genuinely interested in diversifying in your personal life, how do you go about doing that, right? Because that's one of the awkward things about adulthood.
These are the same people that wrote Charlotte as a bumbling moron asking people to her dinner party because they fit certain criteria.
It's actually not as easy to make friends as it is when you're living in a college dorm, when you're playing on a playground in elementary school. And so that's really what the episode became about. Like a lot of my favorite Sex and the City episodes, less about the big, societal issue and more about how that looks on a day-to-day life and the humor that comes with all of the big issues and how they look in the
Yes, because in Just Like That, nailed the humor of it. All those episodes we've seen that are so funny. It's so funny, you guys.
small ways in our day-to-day lives, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what this became, right? Is Charlotte, York McDougal, Golden Blatt on the playground of adulthood trying to make a really, really good friend.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. What you've done is taken a character that we love and that we've known for a long time, make her a complete idiot, not know how to talk to people, and again, just try to check boxes on who her friends are instead of actually getting to know them to be good friends with them.
And I think what was the scariest thing,
Watching these episodes?
I'll speak for myself, but for this iteration of the show, was how do we let the characters talk about it? Like, I know that I was raised a long time ago to act as if, color didn't exist.
And just like that, we're getting life lessons and preached to by the writers of a TV show.
And so it wouldn't be in good taste to speak to a new friend's race. And now we're learning that we have to have these uncomfortable conversations. So how do we let those uncomfortable conversations happen? And I feel like, Kelly, you were so instrumental in helping us all have the uncomfortable conversations.
But also the daringness of it. And it wasn't just a conversation. We wanted to take the show from some sort of a think piece to a personal expression with a just heightened sense of the comedy trap that Charlotte could find herself in.
I really think I say this once an episode, but what the hell show are they watching and talking about? Because it does not make any sense with the show that they've fed us. It's not funny. It's not humorous. They've made Charlotte and Miranda into complete idiots, and honestly, Carrie's right there with them.
And you were fearless about going, no. She can't find a friend, and we need to underline the comedy of the obstacle of somebody who thinks they're reading every book possible, but still can't find a black girlfriend to come on a 2 days notice to a dinner party.
Oh my God, you guys, I feel like I'm having a stroke. What the hell? So much wrong with all of this. And what the hell is with Michael Patrick King? He is so full of himself. He has to interject things like this. Again, we're just the idiots that watch this show. So let's teach us a lesson. These people are the most full of themselves group. I've just never heard anything like this. I really haven't. It's wild. And with that, I think I've heard about as much of the bullshit as I can handle for one night. So I'm going to go ahead and end it here. There's going to be a gen-shaped hole in the wall because I'm going to jump through it. I just can't believe what the hell they're feeding us. But I so appreciate every one of you for tuning in and listening. I appreciate every one of your comments, your thumbs up. All of them mean the world to me. They really do. Check out my Patreon if that's something you're interested in. And I will be back again with this soon. I appreciate everybody. And I'll talk to you again soon. Take care. Stay healthy. Bye-bye.